Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Llama and today I am bringing you not one, not two, not even three, but 4 different ways in which you can farm for primal fire. Some of these are going to be good for you and some are not, because each one of these different farming methods has massive pros and massive cons, but we'll get more into that on each one specifically when we get to them. So let's just dive in. So method number 1 that we're going to discuss, guys, is killing the fire elementals at the elemental plateau in Nagrand. That is the Outland version of Nagrand, not the Draenor version that we all like to forget existed. So the elemental plateau is fantastic for getting primals in general, but when it comes to farming for a specific primal, there is a limited number of mobs. So these are not on a forced respawn. Once you kill all of the fire elementals, if it's specifically the fire primals that you are after, you are going to have to wait for a respawn. Now, the upshot of this is that there is also air elementals, water elementals and earth elementals nearby that you can kill to get their respective primals as well while you wait for your respawn. Or alternatively, if you are a miner, you can do a lap of Nagrand, the zone that you are in, to go farming for adamantite, fel iron, and if you're lucky, some corium. In my experience, doing a full lap takes quite a while, so you might want to develop yourself a little route nearby that would take a few minutes while the mobs respawn, or you obviously can just do a full lap and return, at which point the mobs will definitely have respawned. The negatives, however, to doing this is that this is a very well-known farming spot, and it is not uncommon for there to be multiple people here, at which point you are going to have a serious lack of mobs per person. Sure, you can group with people, and at that point it's just going to make your farming slightly more efficient, but you're still going to be waiting on those mobs. So having more people doesn't necessarily mean a higher return of primals per hour on this farm. Farm number 2 for your primal fires is going to be at the Throne of Kil'jaeden in Hellfire Peninsula, killing the fire elementals there. Now, this farm is by far the most popular farm for primal fires, and as such you can often get a group for it. If you can find yourself a group for this farm, it is by far and away the farm that I would recommend for farming primal fire. It is specific to that one particular item that you'll be getting. There's not a lot else you'll be receiving. However, these mobs are on a forced respawn, so if there is plenty of you, you can get a lot of mob kills per hour. The negatives, however, is that there aren't actually an awful lot of mobs here. They're quite well spread out, and you do need to kill pretty much all of them in order to trigger the respawn. So not only does it only realistically work if you are in a group, but also you do need to be quite a well-organised group as well. And being something with an instant cast and the legendary to transfer yourself into a form of flight is practically mandatory in order to get any kind of real efficiency. The upshot of this though, guys, is that if you do manage to meet all of these requirements, you can get a lot of primals an hour by doing this farm. It can be done solo, but it does greatly reduce your efficiency. Don't know about you guys, but personally when I'm farming, it bothers me if I know that there's a way in which I could be more efficient and I'm not. That being said, if you are truly desperate just for primal fire, this is going to have the highest return of primal fire an hour even by yourself, so do bear that in mind. It's also quite an easy farm to do by yourself. It's just not as good as if you were in a group. Now method number 3 is our sort of random farm that we have in here for you, which is that you can get primal fire from the Shattered Halls dungeon if you are running it on heroic. So in the heroic mode compared to the normal mode, there is one extra mob, the Shattered Hand Executioner, who is found at the very end of the dungeon. I have done some testing to see if he's farmable in the sense that you can reset the dungeon and kill him multiple times if you don't kill any bosses, but unfortunately he's not attackable until you kill the last boss. But that being said, you can just run through the entire dungeon, kill the last boss and kill this mob. The mob itself can drop any one of the primals, so it's not a particularly great farm for doing if you are looking for primal fire specifically, but if you're farming primals in general, then he is a pretty great dropper because he drops them as full primals as opposed to motes, and I'm given to understand he can drop as many as 3 primals a time. I haven't run this enough to check, I've only ever got one per run, but the runs do only take me about 2 minutes, which makes it very efficient for farming per hour. The problem obviously is that you can only run this dungeon on Heroic once daily per character, but if you are farming the nearby dungeons for any other reason, let's say you were farming the reputation and you'd been running reputation runs in Hellfire Ramparts, I do recommend just doing one run in Shattered Halls, getting yourself your free Primal. You may as well. Not so much of a farm, but it is worth a mention, so I've put it here for you guys. If you decide that you want to do it, now you know. Now farm number 4 is a very simple one. It is my favourite, and I know what a lot of you are going to say, it's not the greatest Primal Fire per hour, but farming for Fell Iron in Hellfire Peninsula will return you a very healthy amount of Primal Fires. It did in fact only take me about 8 or 9 minutes, I believe, in order to get 2 Primals, so at that rate that's pretty good going. But the best thing about this farm is the fact that it can be done very easily when you want by yourself. You can improve your own efficiency by using things that have improved mining speed or the ability to fly, so like you see here, my farmer is a druid for the instant flight form, and I also use Dark Moon Firewater to improve my cast time on my mining. But by far the biggest advantage is the fact that you're going to get more than just Primal Fire. You are going to get your Primal Earths from doing this as well, because you will be getting the most of Earth from the mining nodes also. Primal Earth otherwise, you can occasionally find yourself needing it, but it's so low value, it's not really worth going and farming. This is just going to build you up a nice healthy supply while you're farming your Primal Fires. You will also get yourself Fell Iron, which sells for a great deal on many realms. On mine it's going for about 30 gold at the minute. I'll pop a Undermine Journal up on the screen for you for Fell Iron so you can get some prices for yourself. You can also get Eternium ore from the Fell Iron deposits, and if you are fortunate, a Fell Iron deposit can be replaced by a Corium deposit. The ore switch on most realms that I play on, it goes for about 1,000 golden ore. So while yes, this isn't the most efficient Primal Fire farm, it's probably one of the most efficient farms in general. You can also get the herbalism nodes along the way. I don't recommend going out of your way for this, but some of them are worth a fair bit of gold, and if you happen to be both a herbalist and a miner, you can pick them up on the way also. So, you've farmed your Primal Fire, you've got yourself a ridiculous amount of them, what are you going to do with them? So option number 1, obviously by far the simplest, is simply to sell the Primal Fire. Pop that up on the screen for you now, you can see that these sell across EU for quite some sum. I'm not sure as to the prices on US realms, but I would imagine that they would be relatively similar, there's no reason why they shouldn't be. That being said, if you do want to be a bit more expansive and expand your profit margins, there is plenty that you can make with Primal Fire. So there is countless transmogs, as we've been over in our other Primal videos. I'll just throw a few up on the screen for you now. You know how it works with making the transmogs and all of the things that come with doing that to improve your profit margins. But Primal Fire, unlike some of the others, does have a few other unique items as well. The first of these is the 2 special cloths tied to, well, 2 of the special cloths tied to the Burning Crusade expansion, Shadow Cloth and Spell Cloth. Tailors can take some of the bolts of imbued netherweave that they can get their hands on fairly easily and combine them with both Primal Fire and then either a Primal Mana or Primal Shadow respectively to create Shadow Cloth and Spell Cloth. Now these cloths can be sold, and often the profit margin is very high, so if you have a tailor, it's not a bad idea to check out your market and see if there's the potential for you to improve your profit margins by turning your Primal Fires into these cloths. And now the final special mention comes in the form of the Tome of Illusions Outland. So if you're not familiar with these Tome of Illusions, it's an item crafted by enchanters, and it teaches anybody who uses the tome how to make the appearance for their weapons when they go to the transmogrifier of a great many enchants from the Burning Crusade era. These tomes are sold for ludicrous prices on many realms. I actually sold a Tome of Illusion Outlands the other day for about 20,000 gold. Now admittedly that's quite high, but these aren't hard to farm the materials for, and Primal Fire is a big part of them. So I'll throw it up on the screen for you here, guys, and I highly recommend you look into making one of these with your Primal Fires to improve your profit margins, if you're not just looking to sell them as is. They aren't the quickest shifters, but they do sell, and it will get you a great deal of gold. So that's it for this video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you have any further questions, or if there's anything you'd like to see a guide made on how to farm, please do let me know down in the comments. Similarly, if you did like the video, please do like, comment and subscribe. It does help out a great deal, not least of which in improving my motivation to keep making these videos for you. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!